Cafe Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Rioch, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from Raleigh, North Carolina, Georgia Homsany, corporate wellness coach, CEO of Daily Dose Wellness, burnout and mental health speaker, author of You're Not Lazy. So, Georgia, what do you mean by change your words to change your worth?
Hi, Tom. Well, first off, thank you for having me today and for that intro. As you mentioned, I started Daily Dose in Raleigh, North Carolina. However, our business has been virtual since we started. So we actually service clients from all over the country and even globally. So my latest venture is publishing, I should say, a book on self-talk, which is called You're Not Lazy, Change Your Words to Change Your Worth. So your question, what does change your words to change your worth mean? So the reason that I chose that as a subtitle is because so often we are using language every day that is negative. So one interesting statistic is that on average, people have between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts per day. And out of those thoughts, how many do you think are negative?
Well, I don't want to learn the question. I've seen that on your site.
You've seen the book. Okay.
No, so it says 80% of our thoughts are negative.
Right. So if you think about your own self and the fact of what's going through your head every day, and most of it could be subconscious, right? So we don't even realize that we have this negative loop of thoughts. Because the other thing, Tom, is 90% of those thoughts are repetitive.
Right.
So it's not like we're developing new negative thoughts. Sometimes we are, but a lot of times it's on repeat, right? So one example, just to kind of help people visualize this, is think about, because a lot of times it goes back to when we were children and our formative years. So let's say that you had teachers that were always telling you were too rowdy or you had too much energy and you have to calm down.
Well, I've heard that. I've personally
heard that. That's a personal one. So I picked a good example then. So if you're being told over and over again by your teachers, you have too much energy, calm down. And then they're telling your parents, listen, Tom just is out of control at school. He needs to calm down. And they're trying to suppress that. And you're hearing it on repeat from your teachers, then from your parents. And that's over years, it's accumulating, right?
And we take that into our corporate world. In business, it was the same thing.
Exactly.
In corporate meetings, you're expected to be quiet.
Right.
The same thing. In the school, it's a teacher. In a meeting, it's the manager, the CEO. Somebody's talking, you wait and listen.
Right, exactly. So in the book, I talk about all of the different inputs that we're getting and all of these sources that are feeding us these messages, and then we adopt them. Right. So then you grew up thinking, I have too much energy. So let's say that I invite you to my birthday party and you're the life of the party. And you end up apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I just have so much energy. Sorry, I'm being too loud. Sorry, I'm being too crazy. And what happens is the first thing is you're apologizing.
Right.
And I talk about this in the book. We say sorry way too much. The average person says sorry 8 to 10 times a day. And a lot of times it's not things that we need to be sorry about. Right? Think about when you knock into someone, you could say, oh, excuse me. Right. We don't need, or sorry, we say sorry before we're about to speak. Why are we apologizing for things that should just be something that we can do without apology? So when we say we're sorry, we're admitting fault for something. So that's making us feel bad. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you say I have too much energy, then you're putting down a quality of yours. Okay. Instead of owning that or putting that in a positive light. So in both instances, it's negative, right? So right there,
Right.
those are two negative things, 2 out of the 60,000. So instead, what I try to teach people in the book is, can you take that and turn it into a positive? So, for example, you might say, I just love being around people. It gives me so much energy. And see the tone of that statement versus, I'm sorry, I'm too crazy,
Right.
I have too much energy, and putting yourself down for that. Highlight that as a positive of yourself.
And in the corporate world's the same thing. Many times we start off a meeting saying, I'm sorry to say that we didn't meet our whatever.
Exactly.
And, even the leader, he says, well, I'm just sorry we didn't make the results that we had planned for. And everybody's sorry.
Right.
Nobody accentuates the positive. We don't tend to do that. And back to the negative, just turn on the television, listen to the radio, hear anybody speak. It's the negativity that comes through. And then again, we repeat that all through the day.
Right, exactly. So really the point, because someone might be listening this and say, oh, well, this doesn't seem like that big of a deal. And you're right. If we only said it once, it probably wouldn't be. But if you think about how many times in a day, right, if 80% of 60,000 thoughts is negative,
Right.
you're having that many negative thoughts per day, times per week, times how many years old you are, then that is going to start to impact us. So it could be lowering our self-esteem, not making us feel like we're doing our job well, that we're a good parent, a good friend. Instead, we default to the negative. It's the same thing a lot of times when people receive a compliment and they say, oh, you look great in that dress. No, I don't. My hips are too big. No, I don't like my hair. And we go to the negative
Right.
instead of just saying
Automatically.
Right. Just say thank you. And if you really want to go a step further, thank you. I do look good. And that makes you feel good instead of you putting yourself down. So that's what I mean when I say change your words. And if you start to reframe the narrative for going from negative, even if you just move it to neutral, if it feels too weird complimenting yourself or turning it into a positive, just catch yourself from saying the negative and just keep it neutral.
Right.
And that's going to help you feel better about your self-worth.
Very good. I can see that on the site. It says that you dive into the impact of self-talk on our self-esteem and how we can reframe self-talk to boost confidence and live a successful life. So where can our listeners find you, Georgia?
Yes, so they can find me on LinkedIn as well as Instagram, and that would just be searching my name, which is Georgia, like the state, Georgia, and my last name, HOM as in Mary, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, Y. So Georgia Homsany. And then if you are looking for a copy of the book, I always direct people to my site, which is just my name, full name, georgiahomsany.com. And the reason is because there you can also access a 90-day course that I give people as extra support on how to reframe your self-talk. Because the thing is, Tom, someone might read the book and understand the meaning behind it and what they want to do to make the change, but it's very hard to change, especially as an adult.
Without a doubt.
So I offer that extra 90-day class that people can upgrade to, and you can only access that on georgiahomsany.com. However, the book is also available on Amazon.
Very good. Well, Georgia, thanks for being here and sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you, Tom. And I just want to say, if anyone is looking for a mental health or burnout speaker, any of the topics that we covered today, self-talk, wellness, self-care, I love to give talks about to the corporate space or any conferences and companies.
Very good. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, and for our audience, more information about Georgia Homsany, it's Georgia G-I-A, the last name Homsany. You can find her at georgiahomsany.com, where you'll find the book You're Not Lazy. Also find her on LinkedIn and the book on Amazon. Cafe Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at their site, focusmi.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Till the next time here at Cafe and Networking Podcast.